Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
Now look, my man. I told you I don't have what you're looking for. So why don't you make it easy on yourself? Just shag your ass out of my crib. Now you be a printer. Go get some ink and start printing some more of that shit.
Welcome back to the Pint, a pop culture podcast. Totally bitchin' 80s, September 2025. What a good time to be alive. Fuck yes, my name is John.
My name is Lloyd.
And I am Sheriff Mike.
The three of us are here to talk to you about a film that was released at a period in time where we were all discovering our bodies. Not together, mostly probably, well, at least in my case, mostly by myself. Manster probably.
I was discovering other bodies.
You were.
Nice.
The 1980s, that's right. We're talking all 80s films here on Totally Bitchin' 80s this September. And we have gotten into one that I'm going to tell you why we're doing this. I'll be very real with you folks out there. So I'd heard of this movie many times. It was one of those ones people are like, you should check it out. Kind of a cult classic. And I purchased it on Blu-ray really cheap last year, maybe on Amazon. It was on sale. And then every time I went to go watch it, I just didn't watch it. And then I said to myself, you got a fucking podcast. Make yourself watch this movie and do a show on it. So it's almost like you have to. So tonight we will be talking all about 1985's, and it's celebrating its 40th anniversary, To Live and Die in L.A. Let's get into it.
Do you want me to get naked and start the revolution?
All right, Manster, you have all the production information, but the first thing I got to know is I got to talk to Officer Mike down there. I had asked you to be on this show a while ago, and you had said you were familiar with this film and had seen it before, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But Manster, you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen it, and I don't remember the last time I saw it, maybe 10, 20 years ago, but I saw it in the 80s. Yep.
Okay. I had never seen this. Mike, this kind of really 80s cop movie, almost glossy Miami Vice looking thing with a rock soundtrack. Is that kind of your jam, or are you more of like I've got to see the content first? Are you drawn right into that stuff?
I was at the time. I was into Miami Vice. I think we've discussed this before. And I think Manster, you said as well, have a white jacket back in the day to wear with my Dayglow colored shirt. And, this was there. Although I didn't love Wang Chung then. I don't love the choice of all Wang Chung now, but yeah, the whole option goes nice. And being a noir guy, I like he's doing the flip of, instead of everything's dark, everything's very, very bright. Bright sunlight, LA, etc. He's doing a reverse on the noir. So yes, I was attracted to it then.
I always, it's going to sound weird, but this movie, I don't know if the posters look the same or if there's something about the two movies, but I always get this movie mixed up in my head with another 80s, I think, crime thriller that was around the same time with Mickey Rourke called Year of the Dragon. Do you know that movie?
Oh, yeah. I know. Well,
yeah.
Not comparable.
Not see it.
Okay. I think it's just maybe something. They came out around the same time, and there's something about the posters that maybe always kind of put me in that mindset. But yeah. All right, Manster, tell us all about To Live and Die in L.A.
To Live and Die in L.A. Yeah. Came out on November 1st, 1985. So that's like a couple weeks before my birthday, and
3 days after my 10th birthday.
Yeah, right. So I was in November '85. I was a sophomore in college.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So directed once again. This is at least our third movie directed by William Friedkin. I won't get too much into him, but he did a couple of milestone films in queer cinema, being The Boys in the Band and Cruising, which we did. Also, The French Connection, which I cannot wait to see. I've been wanting to see that for years. I still haven't. In The Exorcist, screenplay by William Friedkin and I'm going to say this right, Gerald Petovich.
And actually,
Petovich. Okay.
If you noticed, I only noticed this because I read it, but in the scene in the beginning where all the cops are in the bar, and they're collecting the bet money, he says, "Pay up, Petovich." It's a reference. Yeah,
that's him. So based on the novel by Petovich, To Live and Die in L.A. from the year before, 1984. Petovich was a former Secret Service agent, but he actually was still an agent when he wrote this and published it. Friedkin significantly altered the plot in some elements, like he added the opening terrorist sequence and the car chase and something else I'm not remembering right now. Filmed on location from October 26th to December 29th of 1984. Los Angeles, Palmdale, Pasadena, Beverly Hills, the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, the LA International Airport, Santa Monica. It's just all right there.
That really lovely section of LA. We also see in Terminator 2, the LA River, that just like that aqueduct thing that there's 18 different chase scenes and movies in. Yeah.
Grease is in that. 18
that's right.
Yeah, and to keep this low budget, because it had a pretty low budget, the crew was all non-union, and he did a lot of like on location, taking the first shot kind of thing. A lot of times the actors thought they were rehearsing when actually cameras were rolling, and they were actually shooting a take.
William Peterson did not think his dick would be on screen when in fact his giant dick is on
all
screen.
Over the screen.
Yeah.
The shot of him running along the dividers in the terminal in the airport, with those conveyor belts, and he got on top and ran. That was like totally prohibited for insurance reasons by the airport, but Peterson's like, I'm just going to do it. Let's just do it.
Give me a shot.
So they did it. Yeah. So another thing, Friedkin really insisted on authenticity. Using real counterfeiters for the scenes. They printed over $1 million of counterfeit money. They actually they made them with 3 deliberate errors, right? So they couldn't be used like outside of the film, but actually they burned most of it, but some of it leaked out and was used, causing news stories and everything. The FBI was involved. Somebody's kid on the production used it in a candy store. I don't know, something.
Yeah. I read that it got used to the point where the real Secret Service had to interview William Friedkin about the money. Yeah. I guess the scene where he's making the money in the beginning, they taught Willem Dafoe how to do it. And then any of the scenes that are not his head are his hands is a real counterfeiter.
Right.
A real counterfeiter making the money, mixing the paint and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, real counterfeiters, real prisoners in the penitentiary, real prison. Yeah, real knife stabbing. That was real. So the car chase. So this car chase has been ranked among some of the best car chases in film, including The French Connection, obviously another Friedkin. The 7-Ups. I haven't heard of that, but you've seen that.
It's a Roy Schneider movie. I've never seen it though.
Okay.
No, neither.
The Blues Brothers, Bullet, Steve McQueen. So it's right up there, and it's a pretty good chase scene. I would say we'll get to it. That took 6 weeks to shoot, and it was the final sequence of the film. Just in case anybody got into an accident or got hurt, they already have the rest of the movie shot. So, and then Peterson did a lot of his own driving, and John Pankow's stressed out reactions
Was
were
real.
absolutely real.
Yeah, I was reading that today. They said that they kept the camera rolling on him to constantly get his reaction to these crazy, speeds and things they were doing. And then I read that Pankow talked to a cop consultant who said it's not unusual to be a passenger in a police chase, even as a cop. And it's not all gung ho. Like, you're freaking out because, you might die. Yeah.
Yeah. And they went on to explain about how they reversed the flow of traffic in the cars driving. I didn't quite understand it all, but
yeah, I read that too. Yeah, I didn't get it either.
It was a lot of clever filming. And one other thing I'll say is the MGM studio execs wanted a more conventional, happy alternative ending.
I watched it.
Yeah, I saw it. You can watch it on YouTube. They felt it would, it'd make more money if you don't kill the lead actor. But they filmed it, but never used it. So I'll explain it. In the alternative ending, Chance survives the shotgun blast that kills him, in the released movie. And then shortly after, there's like the news program with their boss talking about the counterfeiting events and the shootout and everything. And then while their boss is talking on TV, it sort of goes to a TV and it pans back, and you see the two of them there, Chance and Vukovich, hold up in this remote station in Alaska in the mountains. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Chance has some kind of winking, like nod kind of thing going on, and that's it. Credit rolls. It pulls back. You see the mountains of Alaska, and credits roll.
So I have the DVD that has that on it. And I watched it, and they changed. They either refilmed or filmed a second shot where Chance gets shot in the stomach, not in the head, because he's not surviving that shot.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Gets shot in the stomach, not the head, and then it pans to, like you said, them being kind of sentenced off, because they kind of caused all this mess, and then their boss is lying about how he's the one that took care of all this stuff. And they interviewed William Friedkin, and he's like, I only did it because the studio begged me to do it. He goes, we never had a plan to show it, but we did screen it once. The end credits are different because of it, because it pans out on that remote station, and it's all snowy and everything. So they had to make a whole different credit sequence. And then William Peterson said that ending is like the Eddie Murphy movie version of an ending for this movie, where it's the comedy version, like, oh, we're in Alaska now. It's definitely way different. And I don't know if you watched it or not, but there's another scene, a deleted scene, that is Vukovich visiting his ex-wife in the middle of the night after he's freaking out. After everything happened, he's in the bar, he's freaking out. He goes and visits her. He wants to talk to her. And he realizes, I guess they're getting divorced. He realizes she probably has a guy inside. And he fucking pops her in the face and calls her a slut. So that's not like the character. We'll get to it. The ending of this movie, I think the character.
There's a shift. Yeah.
There's a shift. And I think that scene kind of clues you into that shift a little bit more. And even Friedkin said, I don't even remember why I took it out because it's a good scene. But I think it might be because you feel like Vukovich is the good guy in the movie. And then when he pops his fucking wife in the face, you're like, oh, okay, this guy also might not be great. But those, if you ever watch the DVD, those are the two scenes that they kind of have in there.
I'll do one more. I'll just talk briefly about the soundtrack. Wang Chung was chosen because Friedkin really liked them. He felt like they stood out from the rest of, the synth pop groups at the time, I guess.
They really don't. They don't, by the
way. I have to say, I literally just saw Wang Chung in concert about 2 weeks ago.
Did they play To Live and Die in L.A.?
They did not. I expected them to, but they didn't. But it kind of goes with the movie, so yeah. But they did. They were good. They were good enough. Yeah, and he actually took the song "Wait" off of their previous album, "Points on the Curve," and used it over the end credits. And one other thing, you can hear the song "Dance Hall Days" in the movie in the strip club, but it's not on the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I was listening to some podcasts recently, the Pint, and somebody else was saying not to have the same band for the whole podcast. But yeah, I don't know.
I kind of liked it. I liked the pace. It set that sort of pace, and it had that recurring theme. Like anytime there was a chase scene, it was that same.
Yeah, I mean, the background.
But it gets to be a bit much, yeah.
Yeah. It also now ages it hard.
Yeah. Well, the whole movie is aged hard.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the Wang Chung stuff isn't memorable enough. Like I now know that Wang Chung did the entire soundtrack to Live and Die in L.A., but I don't feel like maybe it's just because I saw the movie once and I'm not greatly attached to it at this point, but like, I don't feel like I'm going to go back to that. Like when I think about, like Lethal Weapon, I think about like the guitar and you know what I mean? Like that kind of like those riffs and stuff, they very much resonate with that movie, and the music in this does not resonate to me at all.
Sorry, Wang Chung. But you're still touring, so
they are.
Gotcha.
Yep. And that's all I have for production.
All right, let's talk about the cast of this film.
Shabuya roll call.
All right, previously mentioned as Richard Chance. Is the name Chance a coincidence? Probably not.
No.
It's William Peterson. You might know William Peterson from seasons 1 through 9 of CSI, Manhunter, where he plays Will Graham.
Yeah.
And Lloyd, this is kind of coincidental, but you and I, for the Pint Insider at this point a few months ago, did 12 Angry Men, and we talked about the 1997 version, and William Peterson plays Juror 12.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. As the head counterfeiter / bad guy, and he's credited, I think this is weird, he's credited as Eric, parentheses, Rick Masters.
Yeah.
Just he's called Rick Masters. I don't know if they ever say Eric Masters. It's Willem Dafoe. It is super young Willem Dafoe, by the way.
Super young.
First scene of the movie, he's painted a painting of Donald Trump and he's burning it. I don't know how. Did you guys look at that painting?
Yeah.
Literally, it's like this orange thing. I'm like,
it's almost like muscle. I don't know.
It's very weird.
It looked like it was interior.
You probably know Willem Dafoe from Spider-Man, Nosferatu from last year, and obviously Platoon. John Pankow plays John Vukovich. John Pankow was brought along. William Peterson got the role for this, met up with William Friedkin. He brought John Pankow in to meet William Friedkin and said, I think this guy, who's a friend of his and an acting colleague, would be good for Vukovich, and William Friedkin hired him.
Yeah.
So,
do you know who got William Peterson the job?
I might have read it, but I don't
Did you read that?
No.
Gary Sinise auditioned for it, but couldn't. He was unavailable, so he said, what about William Peterson?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. I didn't even know Gary Sinise was a player at that point.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So John Pankow, probably best known as Paul Reiser's brother on Mad About You. He was also in Talk Radio, and I've never seen it, but George C. Romero's Monkey Shines. Mike, you a fan of Monkey Shines?
Yeah, I've seen him. He always reminds me as the kind of goofy 80s sidekick with a poofy receding hairline. And
he's got a big head, and he's got a big receding hairline. You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right about that. Let's see. Deborah Fuhrer plays Bianca Torres, who is Rick Masters' girlfriend, the bad guy's girlfriend. She really is mostly TV stuff in the 80s, Miami Vice, The Dukes of Hazzard, but she was, I don't know at what point, I'm assuming in the 80s, ex-wife of Mickey Rourke. So yeah.
And she had a great ass.
Well, I'm going to
in profile.
Let me ask you a question, though. Let me ask you a question. I watched this with Heather, and she thought the same thing. So I feel like at least the two of us.
Are you going to say whose is better, William Dafoe's or hers?
No.
Okay.
When he goes to meet her at her show, right? Because she does like some weird.
Yes.
We both thought she was a dude.
Yes.
We both thought that was a man. We're like, oh, he's gay. That's good for you, progressive 80s movie. And then I'm like, oh shit, she's a beautiful woman who kind of looks like a man. That's
that 80s style where chicks were crazy thin, flat butts, no curves at the time. Not a fan.
That weird show that she was in too, I was like, is this the fishing pole butterfly show from View to a Kill? I'm like, what is going on here? But yeah, so that's Deborah Fuhrer. John Turturro, legendary John Turturro, plays Carl Cody, who is the mule for Rick Masters. You know him from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He was in the Batman and the first couple of Michael Bay Transformers films. Dean Stockwell plays Bob Grimes, shifty lawyer. Quantum Leap, of course, Blue Velvet, and the remake of Battlestar Galactica from the early 2000s. Steve James, American Ninja's own Steve James, plays Jeff Rice. American Ninja 1 through 3, The Delta Force, and The Warriors. He was one of the baseball furies in The Warriors. Very unfortunately, he died in 1993, so he did not live much longer.
Which guy was Jeff Rice?
The guy who was supposed to have Totoro killed in prison.
Oh, that dude. Okay.
Yeah, Jeff Rice.
Yep.
So, mostly known as a director of films such as Balls Bluff, Putney Swope, and You Go Pool, we have the character Thomas Bateman, who is played by Robert Downey Sr., who I don't know if I've ever seen in anything before, but holy fuck, he looks just like his son. Just an old version. Did you not see that in his face?
Yeah, I can see it.
I've never seen that, yeah.
His eyes?
It was weird, though, because he's nowhere near as famous. So you're like, Robert Downey Jr., what's going on here?
Yeah. And he's nowhere near as good an actor.
No.
Maybe he's a great director.
No, he made a couple faces, though, that I was like, holy cow, that is 100% his dad.
Yeah.
And then finally, a couple more here. Michael Green plays Jimmy Hart. That was the partner
Early
character
partner.
of Chance. Moscow on the Hudson, Less Than Zero, and Eve of Destruction. All right, let's get into the film in itself.
Wait a minute, one more. I've got to call out one more. I don't know
right.
if you saw this or not. Uncredited.
Oh, no. Gary Cole.
Gary Cole. Yeah.
Gary Cole. And so it was not. Well, that was Gary Cole. But me and Heather both thought so they're chasing two guys in one scene.
Yeah.
One of them is Gary Cole. He's heavier. But it's him and he's credited. We both thought the other guy was John C. Reilly, but it was not John C. Reilly.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
He actually looked like him. I'm like, is this like two future fucking character actor superstars in the same, and it was Gary Cole's first movie as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
All right. So we start off, good call. Thank you. I actually didn't write that down, but I should have wrote that down. We start off at a Ronald Reagan kind of, hotel, what do you want to call it? Maybe a mixer or something. He's speaking. Okay. It's the 80s. Reagan is president for most of the 80s. And we don't see him, but we hear his voice, and we're following the Secret Service agents that are attached to him. We have Richard Chance, who is the William Peterson character, and his partner, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy's a bit older. We actually get the line in a few minutes, the Lethal Weapon line of I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're just kind of like chilling out. They probably are at a point where maybe they're not like on duty and they seem to be in a room, maybe playing poker. But as Chance comes out of the room, he sees something. Mike, what does he see and what ends up happening in the scene?
Well, there's what looks like a hotel bellman, maybe, and he's, for some strange reason, drops his tray. He's holding a tray with like food that you would order in the room, sees William Friedkin, drops the tray, and just takes off. To him, this is something wrong. I have to go chase it down. He calls on the Secret Service little headset thing that I'm, chasing him down. He makes some amazing guesses because the guy goes out a door and up the stairs, and Friedkin knows exactly, I got to go up the stairs and I got to go out this door. Yeah.
Peterson.
Yes.
You're hitting us with Friedkin.
Oh, Chance.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Chance. So he knows to go out on the roof and then go around the corner. And then it's a very strange scene. There's a guy it's the 80s, so it's always got to be a Muslim terrorist. So it's a Muslim terrorist with a belt of dynamite around him. And it looks like he's trying to rappel down to like the president's window and probably blow himself up because he's like setting up ropes or something.
I thought it was a bungee bomb, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to bungee jump down and smash through the window. And blow up.
I thought he was going to do the old, go through and smash through the window and then do the bomb.
Well, whatever he was doing.
Whatever it was.
Yeah. And Chance breaks it up. He tries to say like, hey, I'm going to put my gun down. Everybody chill out. And then his partner, I don't know what he's standing on, but his partner comes up from behind the roof.
Right. I don't know how.
Throws the dude in the air. We hear the classic 80s explosion. Then when he cuts to, when he says the classic line, but he's unscathed. And it's kind of an exciting opening, but I don't understand for the life of me what was going on. There's a terrorist standing on the edge of the roof. Chance is like, don't do it. Let's just put everything down. We don't have to do it. The guy's yelling. He's going to blow himself up for Muhammad. And again, from the other side of the roof, you see his partner's head come up, grabs the guy. He throws him off the roof. The guy explodes.
Vaporizes. Like, that's something about this movie is that the violence is fucking real in this movie. Like, I don't mean real as if but the headshots, the gunshot, like there is some pretty severe, and they do show this guy blow up into a million hot dogs.
He blows up, and then again, I don't know where the partner is, but the partners come around, and Chance and him are just sitting down, and Chance is always, we start to see that he's the kind of badass cop. He's like, let's go get a drink and forget it. And he says, his partner says he's too old for that shit.
Yeah, he's like almost hyperventilating. He's like sitting there like he's just done with this shit. But that's the question.
He's like my age.
He's older than you. I have a question for you, Manster, about this scene. But as we learn about Chance, and the very next scene is him bungee jumping because he's like a thrill seeker. And the whole movie, he's just he's pushing the envelope the whole time. Doesn't that first scene seem like it should be reversed, where Jimmy is the one with the gun on the guy, and Chance is the guy Spider-Manning up and throwing him to his death?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
it seems like a weird, from what we learn about Chance, it seems like that should have set us up to understand that character. Because then I think the next scene of him bungee jumping would make you go, oh, this guy is just living on the edge, which we do learn in the movie.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah.
But it's reversed in that one scene. So, So Chance does go up and he bungee jumps, and, like we learn of his, like, he's kind of like this, like, wild guy in his group. And Jimmy Hart has
adrenaline junkie.
He's an adrenaline junkie. Jimmy Hart has the classic, again, not just I'm getting too old for this shit, but he's on 3 days till retirement, which means he's got about 2 days left to live. And he tells Chance at one point, like, look, I'm going to stake out Masters. Like, they don't spoon feed you stuff in this movie. They just kind of like make it known that Masters is this counterfeiter that like they've been kind of surveilling for a while, and he's been on their radar, but they haven't been able to do anything about him yet. So I'm going to go out, I'm going to check him out. And when I get the word, when the bus comes down, you're going to be there and be part of it. So we get him, he goes off and he does this thing 3 days before retirement. Manster, we meet Rick Masters. Give us kind of a overall like look into that character.
He's an artist, clearly. He's got that calm demeanor. I think the first time we see him, maybe he pins up an art piece on the outside of this building and then he just burns it.
Yeah.
The thing that looks like, a flayed Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, why is this guy burning his art? I mean, I don't get that. But do we see him start doing the counterfeiting at this point?
Yeah.
I think we do, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You see
all the counterfeiting stuff. You see he's meticulously cutting out bills and placing them on this sheet and cutting out the serial numbers, and he's got gloves on and he's mixing paint. So yeah, he's like seriously into it.
They talk about his art a little bit, and they mentioned that at one point he was like considered like an up and coming artist. And I wondered if like he was an artist who wasn't successful, and then he looked at counterfeiting as like his ultimate art form, because
it is seriously artistic. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, when they show that, there's like probably like a good 4-minute montage kind of scene of him counterfeiting, and after about the first 30 seconds, I would not have the patience for that shit. Even if I was making, $60,000 for, $1 million in fake bills, like, God damn, you got to do all that. Then you got to throw it in the dryer with
you literally have to launder it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's too much.
I was pretty impressed. That montage was good though. I like that montage.
It was very good. Yeah.
Oh, it was excellent. Yeah.
And he first laid down a scrim coat of red. I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
Well, that's a beautiful shot of him breathing on the.
The reveal.
The reveal that this is a the back of a bill. I thought that was a beautiful shot.
Yeah, that was a good montage.
We meet Masters, ultimate counterfeiter. Eventually, we see that Jimmy Hart is out, and Masters, I guess, counterfeiting operation is in this little. It's kind of like a building in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the desert, sort of.
The desert, sort of, and Jimmy is kind of surveilling it, and he decides to go in and try to figure out what's going on. He gets out, he goes into the dumpster, he pulls out a giant bag, and it is all the shredded ends of the bills that aren't going to be used. And unfortunately, as he's doing this, he's being watched from like a horse trailer by this character that we kind of see a few times in the movie, who apparently is a business associate of Masters, who is kind of his hired muscle.
Yeah,
and
Jack.
But Masters is there as well, right? Because they both both attack him?
Yeah, Masters was there, and he took off like after dumping that bag in the dumpster. Who knows why? Probably getting a burger at
Right,
the local Five Guys.
That kind of reminded me of RoboCop though, because they both shotgun the shit out of that dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
come back and they see him, and he's just like wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. They fucking waste him, like Mike said.
And they shoot him, and he says, "Ah!" after they shoot his head.
Hey, look, you never know. First headshot we get though in the movie, and it's pretty graphic. The next scene is cops and Chance descending on this place. So, obviously someone's called him in missing, and they go and they start checking everything out. Can't find him. And I think this scene is kind of weird, even though I understand it in the end. Vukovic is there. He's with them. But in the next scene, he introduces himself to Chance as if they've never met before. I thought that was a little strange, but I get it. They're just probably not like working together. So, Chance sees blood dripping out of the dumpster, and they don't show it, but he opens it up. It's a puddle, and he finds his partner's body. So this is going to be the driving force of the movie, just to get it out there. Vukovic introduces himself to Chance, and Bateman, Robert Downey Sr., their boss, says, "You guys are going to work on this together to take down Masters." And Chance straight up tells him that we're going to stop at nothing to get him. And that's the driving force behind this movie. And it's also the driving force, I think it's important, behind this Chance character, because he really... this movie reminded me of a film, Mike, that we did years ago that we lost, A Simple Plan. It's one of those movies where everything keeps getting fucking worse, and you're just literally like, stop. I think that movie's worse in that aspect, because those were all mostly just innocent
regular people.
Yeah. This is criminals and cops, and it gets confusing, but
that's the true noir, that it's never going to end well, and it just people keep pushing forward, etc. So
as we go along, we start to meet like our characters, and Masters. He's just a violent dude. But he's super calm. He has a real penchant for trench coats, slick back hair, trench coats, and
his face is so fucking smooth.
So smooth.
Defoe looks great.
Yeah.
Mike, I think I want to talk about it for a second. With Masters, is one of his, like, I guess, heaviest character traits is almost like a attitude of no forgiveness, right? Like, we see that over and over again with him.
Yep.
He just, you cannot fuck up around this guy. And you get a feeling as the movie goes along, when people fuck up, you get nervous for it. So I even though we're kind of going out of order, I want to talk about a few of these. So we meet the Carl Cody character, who is the John Turturro plays. And he's a mule for Masters, who ends up getting captured by the cops. But he gets one up on the cops because he kicks William Peterson in the balls like 3 times, really badly, at an airport. But at one point, he's accused of having stolen money that he was supposed to drop off with a lawyer character.
Yep.
But we find out the lawyer character actually did steal the money and lied about it. There's a guy that doesn't make it long when he encounters Masters again. Another character that will go forward a little bit further ahead in the same section of the plot line is when Cody does go to jail, Masters suddenly becomes very worried that he's going to turn on him. So he goes to Jeff Rice, who's the character played by Steve James, and says, like, look, I need you to take care of this problem for me. And Rice guarantees that it'll be taken care of. Manster doesn't get taken care of.
No, he does not get killed. He just gets roughed up a little. The guards break it up.
Yeah, no, there's no shanking in the prison yard that day.
No.
And then we get another scene where Masters goes and, again, just speaking to this character, he says to him, he goes, you owe me my money back because he paid him already. And you didn't get the job done. I need my money back. And Rice is like, I already spent all that money. Some of it got taken from me.
Like, it's not here. I don't have it.
Don't have it. Yeah. But Masters there's no bargaining with him. He's not like, okay, you have a second chance to do it, or let's talk about how you're going to pay me back. He's like, I'm not leaving here until I got my money. And
right. And Jeff Rice even pulls a fucking, like a belt knife, puts it right in his eye, and he still is like not fazed by it.
He's surrounded by 3 like big fucking hardcore dudes that have the jump on him. Eventually he gets the jump on them because of his buddy. What was his name again, Manster?
Jack. Yeah, Jack. The muscle.
Jack, the muscle comes in and takes care of that. But I just want to get into the psychology of that character because he just doesn't seem like he's afraid of anything. And I thought, I'll give it credit. We'll talk about how we feel about the movie at the end. I thought, man, this is a great screen villain because he's the kind of guy that if you knew him in real life, and it's almost like I always equate this to like the Joker. Like you would not want to be around the Joker ever, right? Mm-hmm. That's just a character. That's a dude that is just, there's something wrong with him. And he has at any second, something could happen with him. Mike, I want you to kind of talk about the Chance character, like what this guy's all about and some of the things he's doing here that, I don't know, are they above board? Are they not above board?
Well, I mean, they're definitely not above board for Secret Service. I think, it's an interesting change because we start and we get what we normally think of as Secret Service. Hey, the Secret Service protects the president, right? So there's a big action scene with that. And then they cut back and I think for most people, myself, they're now chasing down people that are doing counterfeiting. And I know that is a Secret Service job, right? But that's not like we're watching a movie. Normally, they're just protecting people. Right. So, but they come around to it. But I mean, I made all these notes because they did William Peterson up Chance so over the top. Like he's cool as shit. He's got his boots on. His shirt is open to his stomach. He's got a leather jacket. That scene when he comes in to see his buddy, or he finds his buddy, he screeches in and like spins out, jumps out, takes his sunglasses off, doesn't ever take out of his hand, pulls out his gun, and then he's just going balls to the wall. No like rules. He's kicking doors in, he's breaking shit and doing whatever. So he's just totally out of control. There's a little bit of a question if I put here, how does his boss not know that he's just, off the rails, especially after his friend gets killed? It's very clear he doesn't care. He barely gives a shit about keeping in the rules or keeping everything going on. And it's his partner, the good guy, that I think we're, as the audience, is supposed to, connect with, because his partner is always like, oh shit, man, you can't do that. Like, holy shit, what are you doing? Et cetera, et cetera. Although it's funny because I noted too that his partner bitches the whole movie. Oh man, you can't do that. But then he always goes along with it.
Yeah, to the point where he goes along with, to the point where they do the ultimate thing, that should not be done. So I want to talk, Manster, about the relationship between him and the informant. Like, what is happening there? Like, he's blackmailing her and he's banging her, but she likes it? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, we see her really early on, like one of the first scenes in the movie. And so she is a cute, a very attractive blonde lady. She's an informant who's on parole, and she feeds him information. She tells him about all kinds of stuff, including the Chinaman that's coming later on in the film, and about Masters. And yeah, he's got total control over her, because every time she says something, oh, what would you do without me? what if I didn't feed you the information? He's like, oh, well, you just be back to jail. It's like he's got absolutely no feeling at all,
Yeah,
to tell her. Now,
he feeds her that dick, but the scene where he comes back to what I thought was his house, but I guess it's her house, and she's waiting in bed for him, and then, he bangs her, and we get to see William Peterson's dick. At that point, we hadn't really gotten too far in the relationship, so I thought that they were like lovers, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. But then when they're done, he is just like sitting on the toilet reading a magazine. He wants nothing to do with her.
Yep.
At all, and he leaves.
She's a little more philosophical. She wants to talk, but no, he wants nothing.
He wants
just
nothing.
using her. And
you're right. He tells
her name's Ruth, by the way. Ruth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I made this note that Chance's dick must be amazing because he treats her like shit.
I gotta be honest. I saw it. It is amazing.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes. Okay. But
there was 2 scenes in this movie that shocked me. You both know what one of them was, but the other one was, I was like, oh shit, 80s movie dick. Like, and it was shot from a weird angle too, because it's like a cross, like she jumps up and puts her legs around him and they're about to get on bed. And you just see William Peterson's Wang Chung hanging there.
Yeah.
And then I read afterwards, that William Friedkin told them to make the sex scene real. So I don't know. I don't think this is one of those movies where they claim that like it was real. But
he said he didn't know it was going to happen.
I think he was hard. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be, because even that's just a natural reaction. A beautiful woman's wrapped around you. But like, I was like, wow, I thought movie dick was an 80s or 90s thing. I thought that's when it started coming out. But
right.
This movie had movie dick in it. So good for that. So yeah, Chance is just kind of like using this woman. He's clearly, even though it's in a lesser way, like he doesn't want to be involved with Vukovic. He doesn't want a partner. But when he does get him, he just uses him as backup.
He uses everybody. Yeah.
He uses everybody. So he's really in deep. He really wants to get Masters. And finally, at one point, him and Vukovic go undercover and meet with Masters. And Masters, they're pretending to be businessmen who need $1 million in counterfeit money. They spend a day at a club with him, like a gym type club. And he tells them,
they're all working out. Will Peterson is doing the absolute worst tricep pushdowns I've ever seen.
He doesn't
know what he's doing.
He's got no form. And it also goes to that whole like locker room comfortability, because like William Dafoe just gets naked right in front of them.
Yeah.
As they're talking about the money. I'm like, that was never me. Like, I'm like the guy who's like, I'm going to wait till you turn around or go to get your bag, and I'm going to get my underwear off as fast as possible and then get them back on again. But, Defoe's like, whatever, I'm just going to get naked here. So he tells them, Mike, how much money does he want for the money he's making for them?
Well, I think it was 50 or 60 total, but he wanted 30 up front. He absolutely says 30 up front or I'm doing nothing. And they're like, no, that's bullshit. It's too much. And he's like, I will literally do nothing unless
that's how he weeds out, the people who aren't serious.
Right. Yeah. He tells them that. He's like, I know immediately if you can't come up with this money that you're not real. So they leave the meeting with him. And I think coincidentally around the same time, Manster, as we talked about with the informant, and you mentioned the Chinaman, what was the whole thing with this character and what she told him?
She tells him during one of their meetups, I don't know, a lot happens in this movie, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. So one of the times he's at home, she says, look, there's going to be somebody coming in on a train, and he's going to have $50,000 and he wants to buy stolen diamonds, and he's a Chinaman.
Right.
So that's all he knows. He's like, I don't care about diamonds.
Right. But when he suddenly needs this money, Mike, what is his plan? He produces in his head, and then he presents to Vukovic.
That they go rob the guy on their own, just straight up go rob him and use the money. Because in the middle there, for some unknown reason, they go to their boss and they're like, hey, give us 30 grand. He's like, just get the fuck out of here. We never give 30 grand to anybody. And so he's like, let's just go rob the guy. Who even cares? He's a piece of shit that's, doing thief stuff or whatever. We just take the money and we use it to get him down. And rightfully so, Vukovic is like, all right, you're like over the top now.
Right. You've gone too far.
Crazy. That's fucking crazy. But again, next scene, there he is going with him. But,
Yeah, he still goes with him.
They have a huge argument about it where Chance says, I told you from when you came in, I was going to do anything to get this guy.
Yeah.
And Vukovich is like, yeah, but not like fucking, armed robbery. Right? Like,
yeah, they're in a bar, right? And he's like, you're a pussy. Like, what's wrong with you?
What is it? Is there a scene in the movie that changes Vukovich's mind?
No, he just shows up the next time.
He just shows up, right? Okay.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen till the end.
Well, yeah. So now that's the plan, what we're going to do. Now, I do want to bring up the fact that our characters have also been in a minor form of contact throughout the movie with Dean Stockwell's character, who is a lawyer that has worked in the past with Eric Masters, right? Is that what they said? Like he was his lawyer?
No,
yeah, he works. He works with Eric.
Because he was actively trying to get Turturro out.
Right.
At one point.
Right.
What I have to say about him though, for some reason everybody talks to him. So like he's Masters' lawyer. Everybody that walks in tells him his whole life story. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he's Dean Stockwell. He seems like a guy you can tell anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think it's funny though that like at points like Vukovich is going to him for advice, and he is like the bad guy's lawyer, because then there becomes a point later in the movie, and we could just say it now. It's suggested that Masters knew that they were cops the whole time. At the very end, he says to Vukovich, and I know I'm skipping ahead, we'll get back to it, but he says, why didn't you take his advice about, turning on your partner? How did he know that? Because fucking Dean Stockwell was, I think, being told by him to kind of like get this all going in this direction. So
I think he was, and I don't think, I mean, from how he acted, I don't think he believed them anyways, right? Because he was like, I'm going to show you my dick, and then I'm going to say you need 30 grand. I don't think you're going to bite. And then, they have to half kill themselves to do it.
Right.
So I don't think he cared, you know what I mean? That was his character, which was pretty awesome. He just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. All right, Manster. So the next day we have the scene where the guy gets off the train and they jack him. It's a straight jack-in, Holmes. They take
straight up jacking.
They take him to some desolate LA railroad yard, and they are like, he has a briefcase. Give me the fucking briefcase. Vukovich is holding the gun on him. Chance is trying to smash the briefcase. Meanwhile, they realize, I think the briefcase opens up, there's nothing in it, right? And they realize, shit.
There's a phone book in it.
A phone book in it.
Okay, phone book. Okay, he's got it on him. Strip. So the guy starts to take his clothes off, and he has a money belt on him. So they get the money belt off, but Manster, all of a sudden, from a high vantage point, what happens? What do we start seeing?
So Chinaman, whose name is Ling,
yes,
Thomas Ling, we don't know this yet. I guess I might as well give it up now. He is an FBI agent on a mission, right? And he's got people traveling with him, keeping an eye on him. So they see, them getting taken and abducted by him, by Chance and Vukovich. But anyway, while they're out there and he's smashing that, those guys are seeing it and they start firing, but they're terrible shots. They're not that far away, 25 yards away.
That's what's great about this scene, is that when you're watching the movie, you're literally wondering what's happening.
Yeah.
Because they're shooting and they're missing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, why are all these fucking cars like, yes, we understand he's there to buy these diamonds, but like how many henchmen do these people have? Because they're just constantly getting surrounded by cars. And then in a later scene, we find out he's the Fed. And now we realize that the Feds were just shooting as warning shots. And those were all like government vehicles. I really liked that reveal.
That was cool. But in the meantime, they are shooting warning shots. They're not hitting anybody, but they do accidentally hit Ling, and they kill him. So he's gone.
But Vukovich thinks he did.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep,
yes.
Yep. Yeah, they get in the car, and thus ensues a pretty fantastic car chase that lasts for a good, 6 minutes. I don't know. I didn't time it, but it's long.
And there's like 3 parts. Like twice, you think like they got around the corner, and then it's like shit happens again.
Yeah,
pretty
and
awesome.
at the end of the car chase, they are going down whatever highway that is in LA, and they're going opposite of traffic. And it is so frenzied and frantic. And I mean, it was making my heart beat. Just fucking the camera angles in the car and outside of the car were really, really good.
It deserves a place in Car Chase Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And you get the jackknife trailer truck behind.
Oh, the jackknife trailer truck was awesome. The jackknife trailer truck was awesome. The scene where they were like surrounded by 4 cars and he still took off again.
Yeah.
You know, all of Vukovic's reaction shots are awesome because he's literally afraid as fuck when they shoot the back window out, and it is fucking hectic and it's crazy. And then the scene after when they finally get away and stop and they're just freaking out on each other because even that, see what's great about it is at that point they don't know anybody's feds.
Right.
That's what this movie does really well is they have this fucking screaming match and like this car is fucking, it's a cop car. They're going to, you know, we're going to get caught. We're going to be involved in that guy's death. And then Chance is just like, chill out, dude. This is all, we got the money. We're going to get this done. Nobody's going to know it's us. And then the next day, Mike, in their daily briefing, they find out he's a Fed. And that's a great scene, I think, right? Where like Vukovic is clearly freaking out again.
Yeah. And I just want to say that before that was funny because there's bullet holes in the car. And so Vukovic, rightfully so, is like, we're fucked. What are we going to do? But Chance is like, we just got to get this back to the impound yard. We got to hit a store and get a new windshield and put it in. Yeah. And then we're good. I'm like, where the fuck do you go?
Yeah.
But anyways, it is cool because he's, you know, Vukovic, he's the good guy. He's kind of sitting up straight. And the captain starts reading, you know, oh, by the way, the FBI says we're looking for this guy and that. He's obviously freaking out. And then you see Chance is so cool. He's like slouched over his chair. And it's like, yeah, whatever, man. And then he kind of sits up a little like, oh, shit. I think they found out. But then they leave. And I thought it was so funny, especially for Vukovic. You know, this is like the worst secret in the world. And they are screaming about it in the police.
In the stairwell?
Yeah, and the bathroom and the stairwell. They're screaming about it when your captain's like right fucking there.
I think I said to Heather at that point, I'm like, you might want to take this conversation in like elsewhere. Because you're right. Like they're in a hallway. It's like, we fucking killed that guy. And I'm like, no. Don't say shit like that out loud. Don't say shit like that out loud. Don't even write it down.
You know, that reminds me of an earlier thing that I wanted to bring up. There's a lot of these little things in here. You're like, no, that's just no. Like when they were in the airport way back in the beginning, right? When they get reassigned to the counterfeiting and they're in the airport, right? And they see Cody come in and Cody goes up to, I don't know, fucking Delta terminal and pays cash money for a plane ticket, right? And then Vukovic comes up and he like rubs it with a pencil eraser and he's like, no, it's who the fuck pays with counterfeit money when you're transporting counterfeit money?
The counterfeiter,
I thought
nobody would do that.
I thought the same thing because Turturro actually looks at him. Because he looks crazy and he's like, who the fuck is that guy? And it was like, because this is a long time ago, it was like $50. Like fucking put it at just pay $50.
That got me maybe so bad.
That's the high of being involved in counterfeiting, though, is that you start to like, you know, you're like, why would I ever use regular money again? But yeah, no, I thought that scene was weird. I thought it was funny too, because in order to realize it was actually the mule, he's sitting at the counter while the guy's getting away and he's doing this like rubbing test and he's got a jeweler's loop and he's like, after 6 minutes of intense testing, he's like, that's him. And he's like, the plane is over fucking Nevada right now. You missed him. He was on the plane 3 minutes ago. You were using a marker and an X-Acto knife to determine if this was real. All right, let's get into the final bit of this movie. So Masters has his meeting set up with them. They tell him that they have the money and they're going to meet back up at the club again. They go to the club and they're in the locker room and they're about to discuss, you know, how they're doing this. Now, it's important to mention that Jack, the bodyguard who killed Jimmy Hart in the beginning and who killed Jeff Rice and his guys along with Masters, is there, and he has like an immediate dislike of William Peterson's character, right? Like when he comes in, he wants to check him for weapons, and they have this whole thing, and Jack calls him tough guy. So I think that's important because I think he's kind of aware these guys aren't who they say they are. And I think we're supposed to believe that Masters knew all along from what is said at the end, but we'll get to that. So they have this scene in the locker room. Mike, set us up. Like, what happens here? I gotta say, fucking, this goes down in like, oh my God, scenes in a movie, for me, history, like surprise scenes. I was very shocked
surprise.
at the scene.
Yeah, it's interesting. It almost looks like an old New York walk-up because they have a real skinny walk-up, and that's where he has that argument with the dude. And then there's this back and forth between Masters, Vukovich, and Chance, like a bunch of times of like, hey, what do you got in that case? And they like Vukovich puts it out, but they're like, no, let me see the money. And they kind of argue about it. And then to your point, after you see that Willem Dafoe just doesn't give a fuck. Like, he knows this is fucked, and he's like, whatever, you want to see the money? And he like throws the keys at Chance. Chance catches it. Then he goes, tells him, locker 38 or whatever, and he unlocks it, and then makes a big play of going in to look for the money, etc. He looks at the money, gets up, and he kind of gives Vukovich a nod. Vukovich pops out James Bond style. The case has like all these guns and stuff behind the lining, and he pops that open, and they grab the guns and they hold them up. I thought it was very weird because they see even Chance, who's been just like nut job crazy the whole thing, to kill him, doesn't kill him. They all of a sudden are like, we're going to arrest you, motherfucker. And then they look away. They get into a brawl. Vukovich gets his shit kicked out of him. You think Chance has it on the big guy, but he spins around, shotgun to the head, literal hole through the head just gets bored through his face.
I literally yelled out, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's completely graphic. I thought it was great. And I thought it was a great end because that's the real, like the noir stub, because we've been holding the whole movie. Like, oh, Chance has to kill Defoe because like he has to get this back. And then it's just like gone. And I think part of it is that's why you had that kind of gore, because this is no shot in the shoulder where he's going to like walk it off and start fighting again. He's dead, which was also kind of weird because after he goes down, Vukovich is like, oh, hey, man, come on, man, talk to me. And I'm like, dude, the top of that dude's head is on. I'm like, he's not talking to you.
Yeah, it was instant.
He does kill Jack. They kill each other.
Yeah. Kills
Jack. Vukovich is shocked, trying to wake up his very dead, headless friend, and Masters takes off.
Yep.
So Manster, where do we go from here? Is this where he goes back to earlier in the movie? Vukovich found out about Masters' old like hideout, and he goes back to it. Is that where we are?
Yeah. This is where Vukovich goes to the warehouse, and where he prints all the money, and he goes in there, and everything's in flames. So he's just walking through, the maze of flames to see what's there, and Masters is right there. And so I know they talk, and Masters asks him, why didn't you take Grimes's advice to turn in your partner? And I think he shreds up some paper, like some of the bills or whatever. And they have a little tussle, right?
Yeah, he knocks him down.
Yeah, and Masters like subdues Vukovich, and he's on the ground, not really knocked out, but kind of knocked out. And then he just covers him. He takes all this shredded bills and covers him. And that stuff, is just going to light up like in an instant. He's going to be a flaming scarecrow. As he's on his way, what does he have? Maybe he's already covered him. He's going to get the flames. And Vukovich comes out of the shaggy looking shreds and just puts bullets into him like nonstop. Like he's dead. He shoots at least 12 more rounds.
He's doing the click thing because all his bullets are gone, and he's just keeps pulling.
He's just clicking.
And I think,
and of course, there's like fuel right under him or something.
Yeah, and he drops the match or whatever, and he goes up. It's a great burn. It's a great stunt burn.
Yeah.
And he is just fucking on fire. So we kind of end the movie there, and then we get like this coda scene where, now, as we mentioned, I do want to mention this: the alternate ending would have had them both surviving, going off to Alaska. That did not happen. So we have this we have this ending where, I don't know, this whole bit, this bit confused me. I guess I see what they're trying to say, but it didn't feel right to me. But we get the car pull up to the informant's house again, but now we get Vukovich come out of the vehicle, and he's dressed like Chance.
Yeah,
So he's
acting cool, and he walks in and he basically tells her, they have like this brief conversation, and he tells her, "You're mine now. I'm taking over, and you're going to inform to me. We're going to move on from there." So
doesn't he suggest that she set them up, knowing that Chinese guy was FBI?
100%. She says to him, he says to her, it's kind of funny that, like, you know, you gave Chance the info on this whole Fed coming in, or this guy who turned out to be a Fed coming in. It seems very, you know, kind of coincidental. I thought this was kind of a weird scene too, but before Masters dies, he gives his girlfriend Daphne from Frasier as a lesbian sex toy.
Yeah.
And they leave together. So she's going to go live a decent life with Daphne from Frasier, who is in like some kind of like lingerie. It's a whole weird bit in the movie. But yeah, and then the movie ends. We are led to believe that Vukovich is now Chance. I don't know. Mike, what did you think of that? I don't know how I feel about that.
So when you said, "Hey, you're going to do this movie," I told you I didn't like it. And this is the piece. I actually now have changed somewhat on the breadth of it, but there's two major parts. One, it's really corny, but during the scene when he's fighting Willem Dafoe, everything's on fire, like Mansur was saying. But we're supposed to think that he mentally breaks, and the screen goes gray for a second, because that's like Vukovich breaking. Okay. And I thought this is William freaking. He's an amazing director. This is cheesy. You know what I mean? That's really cheesy.
I did notice that, but I didn't assign to it. But it makes sense from what you're saying.
Yeah, well, that's because Dafoe kind of like has him beat, and he's talking to him, and it's when he comes up and kills Dafoe, it like does that, and that's like his break or change or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then also too, at the end, to your point, well, first of all, I don't find John Pankow tough. You know what I mean? Like Peterson in that movie, he's obviously kind of crazy, but he's perfect. He's tough, and like I believe that he's fist fighting guys and doing crazy shit. I don't believe that for a fucking second from John Pankow. Yeah, I like the guy, but I just don't believe that he's become that guy. And so when he comes in at the end to tell that his Chance's ex-girlfriend, like, "Hey, now you're with me," even she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Get out of here!" And he's like, "No, it's going to be this way." And she goes along with it, but I never did. I'm like, I don't believe this for one fucking instant that you're suddenly this crazy dude. I mean,
I did not like that scene. I think that's one of those scenes in a movie that like I was surprised by, because I felt like it just didn't feel like it fit. Like I think the Vukovich character, clearly, he was a cop who was probably on the right side of the law, and now he saw all this, but I don't think, maybe they were trying to say he wanted that all along, even though he acted like he didn't. And as I mentioned, that scene, the deleted scene where he punches his wife, that would have been great to have kept in, because you would have seen that this guy isn't as kind of Snow White as you think he is. But they would have had to add a couple more scenes where maybe he was a little aggressive or something. But that end just does not work for me.
I agree. Like it's too sudden, and we don't. To your point about the deleted scene, we don't see any proof of that.
Right.
So it's hard to.
In some of these movies like this, you at the end, like if they showed him winning an award, and like he got a promotion, and like everybody's dead and everything's a fucking hot mess, but somehow he came out of it and got a promotion, and and kind of felt weird about it or whatever. That would have been more, but I cannot buy that he clicks and he's now Chance 2 or whatever.
Yeah, it would have been way better if he was celebrated for this stuff he did, which included, even if you want to say the accidental death of a federal agent, and that he has to live with it. Or you see like he wins these awards and goes home and he's drinking or something because his experiences like fucked him up. Yeah. But instead they make him into like a real badass or something. I don't know. I don't know. All right, Manster, let's talk about the box office.
Hey, sing it, baby, I got your money. Sing it, girls. I said, hey, just sing it right now. I got your money.
All right, so this had a budget of $6 million. Like I said, pretty low budget. In the U.S. Opening weekend, it made $3.5 million. I'll tell you the top 5 of that weekend. Number 5 in its 18th week was Back to the Future.
Of course.
Yep. Number 4 in its first week was Nightmare 2. We podcasted on that. That's the gay one.
Probe.
Yeah, Probe. Number 3 was Jagged Edge at 2.86. That was 5 weeks. And then number 2 was To Live and Die in L.A. at, like I said, 3.5. And number 1, something you might be hearing soon, was Death Wish 3. 5.3 million. And it's also in its first week.
Funnily enough, Death Wish 3 is next week's episode. So that was not planned. No. Also celebrating its 40th anniversary, like To Live and Die.
Right. Both came out the same day, apparently.
That's awesome. Oh, I didn't even know that. Now I'm even more excited.
Pretty cool. So that's the weekend. On the year, it made 17.3 million. And it came in number 51 that year.
All right. Well, we talked about the box office. We talked about the movie. Let's rate this thing.
Now! What's it gonna be, Doc? Huh? What's it gonna be?
0 to 5. 0 being the best thing ever. No. 5 being the best thing ever. 0 being the worst thing ever. Quarter and half scale are optional. Caught myself there. Let's go to the Manster first. What do you say about To Live and Die in L.A.?
Well, I've always liked the movie. I haven't seen it a whole lot. It's not something I've go back to every couple of years, but I always have remembered liking the movie just because it's so crazy. It's totally bleak, brutal, corrupt, gritty. According to Friedkin, it's like his favorite film that he made because it's closest to his vision, that he had for the film.
And he had a hand in writing it, which he didn't write most of his movies.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know it's like him and what is it, Petovich?
Yeah.
Both have a hand in the screenplay, but he says he did it, basically. I like it's basically like the ultimate 80s thriller. It's just got that 80s vibe. I like the synth pop score. It might be a little much, but I do like some of the driving beats from that. And I like the song To Live and Die in L.A. It's a good song. It's very kinetic, right? And it's got this relentless pace, like you said, and Chance, he's the protagonist, but he's not a hero, right? He's not a hero. His methods are criminal, right? I mean, he's Secret Service, and he's basically a criminal, is what you can say. So it's hard to root for him in a traditional sense, but you still kind of find yourself pulling for him. At least I do. And you can't look away. It's like this guy is kind of like a human car crash, right?
Yeah. Oh, he totally is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm not sure. I know he did Manhunter. Was that before this?
Year after.
It was after. I think this pretty much made him a star. This movie.
Oh, I'm sure this movie got him Manhunter.
Like infuses this role with just this energy and charisma. He's really, really good in it. And he even said himself that his portrayal he found to be like of this character is intoxicating. And then on the other side of that, like the Defoe character, he's just this smooth criminal, basically. He's a very calm sociopath. And I think that the two, they work well together. It's a good combination. I'm going to give it. I looked at some ratings. Like this movie is all over the place.
Yeah,
like some people love it, some people hate it. On the tomato meter, it's 88%. I know we don't talk about it for these movies, but 88% on the tomato meter, which is freaking high. I'm going to give it 3.75.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy this film.
Okay. We'll leave Mike for last, so I'll go next. The two leads are really good in this. Defoe is a great villain in this movie because he's dangerous and he's unpredictable in a way, but at the same time, there's no crazy moment really that I can think of. He gets mad in a few scenes, but you don't ever feel like he's going to lose control of himself. He's just like very intense. And that's why people in the movie are afraid of him, right? That's why when he walks into the house of these three big black dudes that are like not good dudes, he's not afraid to threaten them to their face, which is fucking insane. And he does it again when he goes to see the lawyer who ripped him off. He's not afraid. He does give that guy one chance. Open up the safe, and if it's in there, then I'll walk away and but it doesn't always go the way that it should, and he's not afraid to take care of business. William Peterson plays a really good protagonist who is not a hero in any way, shape, or form. He is, he's a guy who wants to avenge his partner who went and did something haphazard, basically got himself killed. Not saying that he should have died, but like his partner went off alone to kind of check out this dangerous dude and got killed. So he's mad about something. He should be mad at his partner for what he did.
He's mad about you.
Mad about you, John Pankow. John Pankow's good. I agree. The ending just does not fucking work in any way, shape, or form for me. That he now suddenly has like the Force ghost of William Peterson in him, and he's like this badass. But great chase scene. Again, I'm not kidding when I tell you, I was flabbergasted when William Peterson got killed in this movie, because there's so many movies from 40 years ago, 30 years ago that I haven't seen that I've watched for pleasure or for the podcast. And I generally have known the big surprise, right? So it's not a surprise because you've heard it from everybody. Well, nobody talks about To Live and Die in L.A. So it's not like people are like, oh yeah, when William Peterson gets shot at the end. I've never heard anybody say that. So when his head gets blown off in that locker room, I was like, oh fuck. Like, holy shit. It was a really great moment. I wish I could have it back to watch it again. That being said, I don't know. That being said, it's well done. It's very much of its time. There's some lulls in it here and there. I don't want to give it the score I'm going to give it based on a disappointment angle. I want to give it what I feel it is, but I also went into this watching this thinking that I was going to feel much higher on it based on what some people have told me. The first person that gave me pause to that was Officer Mike when I said to him at one of the last Cult Classic shows, hey, do you want to do To Live and Die in L.A.? And he was like, I'm not really a big fan of that movie, but I'll do it. And I went, oh shit, I respect Mike's opinion. And I was like, oh, here's a guy who's not super high on it. Because like you said, Manster, it's kind of all over the place, but a lot of people call this like it's a cult classic, right? Like people are like, this is a great movie. I'm going to go 3.25 with the addendum that multiple viewings might push it up a little bit. But upon my first watch, I'm going to go 3.25 for To Live and Die in L.A. All right, Mike, what do you got for this film?
Well, I'm coming in, and I came in back in the day. William Friedkin, an amazing director. He's done amazing jobs throughout. He's kind of full of himself and crazy, but hey, that's what it takes to make big movies. So I was not let down with this overall, but there were a lot of, especially for him, bragging that he wrote it. There are a lot of weird, cheesy parts to it that would expect there to be a change. So, having listened to him literally for hours and hours talk about The Exorcist, how he changed how he did horror, so it was completely different work and take. Going into this, let's talk about the opening. The partner, says, literally fights Chance to not come with him. He's like, I'm going to go check out Defoe's place. And his partner's like, all right, I'm going. He's like, no, I'm going to go alone. And don't worry about it. I'm just going to check it out. And he's like, no, you're my partner. I'm there with you. Let's go. And he's like, no, I'm going alone, which is like, okay, set up. And then, but then too, the whole, I'm retiring in 3 days. It's just like, why don't you just put a bullet in this guy's head now?
Well, this is also 2 years before Lethal Weapon made that a real thing. So this movie might get a little credit for instigating that whole thing.
Yeah, but look, at any time, that's like when you watch a crime movie and some guy's like, hey man, I'm retired. And they're like, oh, just this one last job. No, I'm retired. And you got to wait 15 minutes before he's in. So I don't know. I just thought that was a waste. There's also some weird language when they break in on the lawyer, when his girlfriend sets the lawyer up, and she lets him start making out while Willem Dafoe comes in the front door that she opened. They get into this fight. The guy gets knocked down, and then the woman's just screaming. His girlfriend's just screaming, "Hey man, he's going for something! Hey man, he's going for something!" What is this? I'm like, what is this ADR garbage? Yeah, they're fighting, and he's like scrabbling on the bookshelf. There's probably a gun in there or whatever. We know he's going for something. And then the other weird thing I thought when you guys were talking about the two future stars splitting up when they get chased, there's a point at the chase where the guy turns around and he says to the guy, I think it's Vukovic is following him. He's like, "Hey man, why are you chasing me?" And they're running, and it's like, "Well, why are you chasing me, man?" I was like, what the fuck is going on? This guy's ready to like tackle you and kill you, and you're like, "Hey, what's going on?" But
yeah, I'm not turning around mid-chase. I'm not talking to anybody. Just concentrating on running.
Yeah. That said, flip it back. Cinematography is amazing. The composition is amazing. And, this is where Friedkin goes back. All of these things, car chases down the street, etc., are just heightened because he shoots them from great angles. He's shooting him while people are like running through bridges and walkways and all kinds of other stuff. And it's so visually interesting that it kept me there the whole time. And I loved that all the way through. I thought it was good. Like I said, I don't buy the ending at all. If we cut that off, let Vukovic walk into the sunset or whatever. Anyways, I would have been much, much happier. All said, though, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Oh, okay. So we're all in the threes. All right.
3, yeah, 2, he's 5, got the average score.
Yeah, well, not just because I really love so much of it. So, it's kind of like 80-20. So I don't want to shit on something that's whatever. But at the same time, you really gotta pull back because Friedkin has perfect movies. The Exorcist, etc. These are perfect movies. So, this and anybody else would be amazing, but for him, it's not quite there.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good go for a film celebrating its 40th anniversary. I definitely say to people, check it out. I mean, I don't think you're going to be disappointed in terms of the fact that you're going to get an interesting crime story. You're going to get some really good performances. And again, I don't ever want other people's opinions to inform me, but I've heard so many good things about this that I went into it really thinking it was going to be like a 4.75. And it wasn't. So my grade is my actual grade, but there is a little level of disappointment there that I thought I was going to get something a little bit more, but still enjoyed it. Willem Dafoe in particular is an all-star in this. All right. So as we mentioned earlier, it is totally fucking, what is it? Totally bitchin' 80s here. It's totally bitchin' 80s here on the Pint all September. We've been talking 80s movies. Next week is the last week. We'll be talking about Death Wish 3, little Charlie Bronson joint. And then over on our Pint Insider Patreon / The Pint, this month you'll be getting Raw Deal with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And, oh boy, it's happening. Flash Gordon. Flash! Absolutely. Master, tell everybody where they can find us. Let's get the fuck out of here.
You can find us anywhere in the ether. We come out every week on YouTube. It's The Pint, a pop culture podcast. And on Instagram, it's at The Pint Pop. And like John said, you can be a Pint Insider on Patreon, www.patreon.com/The Pint.
See ya.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!